Okay, welcome to another lore video. The next video should be me going into the Maelstrom. I finally figured out a build for it. And I will be looking at that. Gonna have a quick look at the community goal that's just finished. And this is for the Azimuth AX multi-cannon. From today, the overcharged gimbaled AX multi-cannon with autoloader is available at the rescue ships as well as Azimuth Biotech's market. So that's handy, you don't have to go all the way to the Musashi or something to go and get them. They're bigging up their prospects, saying that their partners and their commercial enterprises are picking up again and the future looks bright. And there's some speculation here as well that with the Holloway Bioscience Institute on board with Azimuth, these are the people who have done more research on the mollusks and various other things you find in notable stellar phenomena, what they call the vacuum-dwelling life forms. Their expertise is second to none, and speculation that in at least this respect, their Xeno research will be superior to anything Aegis has done in this area. How that will relate to future Thargoid weaponry, I don't know. But they're bigging it up, and of course this ongoing battle between Azimuth and Aegis for technological superiority and the hearts and minds of the public will be continuing for some time yet. But today, instead of another CG, we've got another of the little paper trails they like to give us. The hunt for the Dedicant. Yes, we may finally find out what happened to it. Traces of a distress call from the Dedicant have been detected in LP 714-58. Vice Admiral Amir Rafiq of the Imperial Navy, not the Feds, broadcast an announcement on all channels. An Imperial scout ship travelling through the system has intercepted several fragmentary signals. Their identifying markers confirm they originate from the Dedicant. We believe there's been an encryption error which prevents the distress call from being rerouted to its intended destination in the Federation. Officially, the Imperial Navy no longer performs joint operations with the Federal counterparts, nor do we involve ourselves in the activities of the illegal Thargoid cult. Nevertheless, we are sharing this information as a humanitarian gesture. Our hope is this may aid a rescue mission for those trapped aboard the lost megaship. It made an unscheduled hyperspace jump from Papontia, as I discussed last time. Executive agent of the Federal Intelligence Agency has said it's unexpected to receive any kind of assistance from the Empire, but on this occasion we're grateful. 3 security teams, 50 agents each, are currently on the Dedicant, along with over 8,000 cultists. This is our first indication that the megaship remains intact, and that our people are calling for help. FIA specialists are en route to LP 714-58. However, deciphering interstellar comms signals is a difficult and time-consuming task. We would appreciate any assistance from independent pilots if they are able to detect any further messages. So, okay, I'm in system and I went to the nav beacon. Nothing showed up there. And the body that you're looking for is actually this one. Body 2A. And as we approach it, we should get a listening post with a partial signal. Probably going to be a point of interest. So let's make sure we've got those selected. And there it is, partial distress call, with a telltale exploration sign showing it's story related, although be aware other signals also have the exploration tag attached to them, but it's generally a good indicator if it has the exploration tag that it's a story related item, if it's not just a regular degraded emission or something like that. It's usually a good hint that this is what you're looking for. And it seems there are 4 of these to pick up, so we're going to drop in at the first one, see what we can see. Those of you who've watched my videos before, you'll be used to this. Following a trail of listening posts, getting some messages which will no doubt need some decryption involved, and piecing together the story of what happened when the Fire God megaship, the Dedicant, jumped and seemingly got round its federal escort. Whether by using these secret tunnels and corridors that they built into the ship that the cultists told Shojin about, or whether they just peacefully overpowered the feds, being as how there were 3 squads of 150 feds and 8,000 cultists on board. Can't shoot them all. We don't know what happened. It does seem unlikely that they would take the feds by force. I think they'd outwit them, lock them out of the system, jump the ship, but then something's happened. And so here we go, about to drop in and see if we can piece that together somewhat. I have a feeling we're not going to find out everything about what happened to the Dedicant at this point, but it'll get us started. And it's a listening post, like every other listening post. And it doesn't appear that you need to scan it with your data scanner, just targeting it will make it auto scan. And sure enough, we've got a message. Distress call received. Origin Dedicant megaship class attempting to forward signal. Attempt failed. Unexpected encryption algorithm error. Partial message exposure. A majority of order of the partial message. System report power online. System report life support online. Rerouting to, and a string of what looks like binary, just ones and zeros, and then encryption key expected in 2-1. Don't know what that means at this point. Okay, so we have some decrypting to do, which will presumably tell us where they rerouted to. Okay, so the way that you decrypt this is to split these numbers into batches of 8 and then run them through the decryptor, and you will get Wuniez, which is our next destination for the next part of this partial distress signal. Okay, Wuniez is only 42.6 light years.
Frame shift drive charging.
So what they're saying is that the signal, distress signal, or whatever other communication the Dedicant was trying to send out, we're presuming it was the feds on board who sent the message, and its intention was to get back to the Federation, but instead it's been bounced around these listening posts, which is a bit bizarre. May not be completely understanding that part of the story yet, but this is it. There we are, the partial distress call 2 of 4 shows up almost straight away. I'll put the locations of all of these in the video description below, plus a link to Canon's handy decryptor, which will do most decryptions for you. Base numbers, letter substitutions, most of the common ciphers that people use. Again, you know, it has to be accessible to all players. We're not all cryptographers, so while it might seem a bit silly that a bunch of FIA specialists can't decipher a message which a cryptography student could crack over their coffee, you know, we've got to suspend our disbelief a little bit and bear in mind that we're not all code crackers, we're not all mathematicians, and you have to keep this accessible to the casual player. So coming in on the partial distress call, second of. That's a rather nice looking metal rich, possibly. And once again, you just target the listening post here. You don't need to use your data scanner, you don't need anything special. You just need to approach it. And we get our second message. Pretty much the same distress call received. Origin Dedicant megaship class attempting to forward signal attempt failed with encryption algorithm error. Partial message exposure. Lethal defensive measure. Yeah, garbled message out of context. FSD offline, helm control locked, and rerouting to set of dots and dashes this time, and another encryption key expected in 99 minutes, 99 seconds. What does that mean? At this point, we don't know. This one is about as easy as it gets. It's Morse, straight up Morse code. Translate the dots and dashes and you get our next destination, Olirun. And again, our next destination isn't too far away, only 31 light years. And we're actually going here to body BC2 after some flying around in this system. Players found that's where the next beacon was. A little bit of a trek, gonna take us a few minutes to get there. Again, just target it. And you get the message come up. Same thing again. A failed attempt to send the message because of an unexpected encryption error. And again, a partial message. This time the security network has come online and the hull integrity is down to 91%. We don't know why. Rerouting to and another set of numbers to decrypt, and then another mysterious encryption key message. Encryption key expected in 1. Okay. And what it means isn't massively hard to work out, but it is a bit fiddly because it's a number letter substitution and it's not intuitive how to group those numbers when they're all just in a line like that. But this is how you group them: 11, 23, 1, 11, 9, 13, 15. Translate those to the letters of the alphabet, and Quakimo is our next destination. And again, Quakimo is not far away. 43 light years. An easy one jump for a bubble jumper, or as I'm using my actual explorer ship, can get there quickly and easily. Keep an eye on the point of interest as you approach the various bodies. These might show up with an FSS scan. I haven't done it because it's a very busy time for me. I've just looked up the bodies to go to, and I'll put all of that information in the video description below. Okay, it's around this body here, 7B. The last part of this signal, this distress call, maybe it'll shine a light on what's been going on with the Dedicant. What is this all about? A hijack attempt by the True Chapter gone wrong? Or has it actually all gone to plan for the True Chapter? And there's a message again, attempting to forward the signal, can't because of an encryption algorithm error. Get a partial bit of the message, and then the system port, the external comms active, transmitting unknown signal. System report, internal comms locked, rerouting to PL71458. Encryption key expected in PIH. Well, not much of that makes a lot of sense until you do this. So now we do have a final destination. How? It sees encryption keys in each of the messages. PIH 19921. And when you put those all together and read it backwards, you get HIP 19912. 61 light years, 61.6. And hopefully this is where we will actually get the message that has been bounced around these listening posts and eventually ended up here in this system, where with a bit of luck we'll be able to read it and find out what happened. None of these distances are massively onerous to go and get the listening post, not even the 20,000 light second one. It's not that bad really. So you can visit all of these quite quickly and find out as much as we're able to at this point in time about what happened when the True Chapter hijacked the megaship and jumped it. Presumably to get away from the feds, and let's face it, why wouldn't they want to do that? They've been accused of being terrorists, they've been persecuted, they've been hounded, they've been imprisoned, they've had all kinds of wild accusations thrown against them, perhaps the most ludicrous one being that they're collaborating with the Thargoids. How? We can't even speak their language, so what, they in telepathic communication, or is this just the feds talking out of their hats? Any old excuse, yeah? Any old excuse. Not that the Empire are much better. The only ones who seem to give them the benefit of the doubt at all, apart from independent pilots, are the Alliance, who've offered them safe haven in their space. And there it is, the rerouted distress call. That's what we're looking for. So yeah, I mean, while I call them nutters because I think they are nutters, I don't think an entirely sane person would sit there sniffing ammonia all day waiting for aliens to come and kill them. I'm sorry, but this is not normal to me. But nor do I think they should be persecuted for that. Really. They haven't done anybody any harm, ever. And the way that they've been used as a political football by the Federation to cover up their own lack of ability to do anything about the Thargoid threat doesn't sit well with me. You know, yeah, they're nutters, but it's their choice to be nutters, and they're harmless. The biggest danger they've ever presented to anybody is to themselves. They're a suicidal, fatalistic cult. There's nothing that anybody can do to them which is worse than what they're planning to do to themselves. Sacrifice themselves to the Thargoids. And, you know, you can say, right, well, you know, let them get on with it. And while I maybe wouldn't go that far, I mean, I do feel a bit sorry for someone who feels everything is so hopeless that being killed by aliens is their only path to salvation or a better life. I mean, a bit extreme, you know. But I respect their choice, even if I think they're crazy. And I wouldn't persecute them for it or start accusing them of terrorism or start using them as an excuse for my own shortcomings when it comes to dealing with the aliens, because I think it's fair to say that the Far God, so far, we don't know about the true chapter, of course, but the Far God, as a general rule, don't really have a clue about the Thargoids. They don't really know that much about them. We certainly haven't expanded our knowledge of the Thargoid race by anything that the Far God has provided us with so far. So we have the Rerouted Distress Call. Distress Call received. Origin, Dedicant, Megaship class, attempting to forward signal, attempt successful. Finally, no encryption errors and the attempt to forward the signal has succeeded. Federal Escort Team Alpha, assigned to order of the Far God Megaship Dedicant. Prisoner transfer mission has failed. Significant non-lethal defensive measures encountered. Majority of Order of the Far God prisoners escaped. Prisoners initiated Dedicant hyperdrive. Escort teams Alpha, Bravo, Charlie and cultists remain on board. Dedicant current location unknown. Advised tracing metadata coordinates to this message. Request immediate Federal Navy assistance. So, there you go. Confirmation that they were overpowered peacefully or evaded peacefully. I think the Feds would be the first to say if any of them had been killed. And these do seem to be like honest soldiers rather than propaganda merchants, so they're just admitting that, yeah. Non-lethal defensive measures encountered. Non-lethal. So to date, the Far Gods still haven't killed anyone. Despite being called terrorists, despite being called Thargoid sympathizers, they have killed no one. And now we get a message from Vice Admiral Amir Rafiq. Commander, the beacon you scanned has correctly forwarded the distress call mentioned in the message. My team will now work on tracking its original source coordinates. Your efforts are appreciated. Please accept this payment in recognition of your time. Do not discuss this matter with anybody else. Vice Admiral Amir Rafiq, Imperial Navy. Now, I'm sure I'm not the only one who's got my spidey senses tingling over this. Why should I not discuss this matter with anybody else? Wasn't it their intention to pass this message on to the Feds to help them find this thing? Isn't their intention to make sure the federal officers get home and bring back as many of the cultists as possible with them? Why would a Vice Admiral of the Empire not want this information to reach the Feds? Why would he tell me, or any other pilot who reads this, not to tell anybody else? And how's that even gonna work? Somebody's gonna do it. Somebody's gonna share the message. And so, well, if you want some tinfoil, there are some players who believe that this is not actually a Vice Admiral of the Imperial Navy who is contacting you. They believe this to be the enigmatic, mysterious but charismatic First Apostle, the leader of the true chapter, who we know has an Imperial accent. So is this her? is the theory there. That's the tinfoil going on at the moment. Is this her? Pretending to be from the Imperial Navy, intercepting the message, trying to stop it getting back to the Federation, and basically saying to us, the pilots, keep this a bit quiet, will you? At least until we get away. I don't know, and it's a theory that's floating around, but for now the trail has gone cold. People are searching the area, as people always do, but I think unless we hear more from this admiral, or from someone else who's managed to track the coordinates, we have nowhere to go. We could maybe do a brute force search, but I get the feeling that there's not going to be anything to find until they want us to find something. So the story's moved on a little bit. It's confirmed a few things that the Far God, as far as anybody knows, are still non-combative. They're still non-hostile. They haven't done anything to the federal officers except laid some non-lethal traps, presumably to stall them, confuse them and evade them, but not to kill them or even to harm them. There doesn't even appear to be anybody injured, just a bit confused by it all. They're not alone, so are we. And this story has a little bit of mileage to go in it yet, but that is it for now. The trail has gone cold. We will be awaiting further information, and when we do, I shall pick up this story and run with it and see where it leads us, and see if we can find out, what the plot was. I mean, obviously they'd want to get away from persecution, but is there more to it than that? Is this the first apostle posing as an admiral, or is it a genuine admiral? Whichever the case, the first apostle, I think, has plans, and we haven't heard the last of this. So stay tuned. Next video I do should be me going into the Maelstrom. I'm gonna try and put that together as quickly as possible. We've got a lot of work to do in the war at the moment. We're not doing too badly though. The alerts have fluctuated a bit. We went from 25 to 31 and back down to sort of like 29, 28 again. And so this week, 28. The number of controlled systems has dropped to 816. We've got 22 systems in post-Thargoid recovery. We are turning this around, and the alerts and many of the controls are being worked on to try and get as much done as you can see. Progress is happening. That's our current target for tissue sampling. And at the end of towards the end of the first day, there's progress being made in the alerts and the controls, as once again we're going to endeavour to try and take out all of the alerts, which we've now done 3 weeks running, and take out some of the controls that cause those alerts if we get a chance to do it, so that we will slowly but surely be doing what I've been saying that we're trying to do, clearing a space around all the human inhabited systems, making sure that the Maelstroms can't throw any more attacks in that direction, and then taking down the control systems one by one as we go towards the Maelstrom. But my next video, as I say, will be going into the Maelstrom itself. Look out for that. I've had a couple of forays in there and managed to not quite die, so I just got to finish the ship off, and then I will be doing that. So in the meantime, as always, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Have a bit of fun following this paper trail for yourself. Watch your backs out there in the black, and watch this space.